Reset. Hey, story skipper. And those are active. Good morning, gamers. Welcome back to Streaming Story Saturdays. Today we are back with Saphrine in 14. And now that Alamigo has been liberated last time, we are entering the post-MSQ chapters. Gonna do the first half of Stormblood today. See where that takes us. But as for now, let's talk to Lise and see what she has for us in this time.
Come to see how we're getting on?
There's a heck of a phrasing.
We've made good progress since we took back Alamigo, but there's one big issue we still have to address. Leadership. The Domans had Lord Hien ready and willing to take the throne, but we've got no one like that here. Theodoric was our last ruler, and he wasn't called the Mad King for nothing.
Suffice it to say, our people have had their fill of kings, which means we need to find a new way forward.
If only it were that easy. Everyone and his uncle has an opinion. For the time being, we're just going to have to keep leaning on General Aldin and the Alliance for support, and see if we can't find a solution together. Something tells me we're going to be hosting a lot of meetings in the near future.
You have fun with that. I'm gonna go
But if
find
that's what it
something
takes,
else.
I'm ready to talk till my jaw aches. The Reach is yours, Nago. Don't do anything I wouldn't.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Ah, there you are. I've been searching all over for you.
Oh.
But don't worry, it's nothing bad. That said, this might not be the best place to talk. Will you join me? I'll get to the point. Might you be interested in a spot of adventure? After all, we were adventurers before we were scions, were we not?
Is water wet?
After routing the Imperials and liberating Alamigo, I reckon we've earned a bit of respite, don't you? And what better way to spend it than by returning to our roots?
Go on.
So, what say you? Shall we call on Alphino and go adventuring?
Right then. Let's go and find Master Levia. Actually, leave that to me. I want you fresh for your little adventure. Wait for us by the Aetheryte, and we'll be along shortly. See you there. Yay, adventure, boo meetings. Yeah, there wasn't anything closer. We'll deal with those two idiots in a couple weeks. Greetings, Saphrine. It would seem we are to accompany Arnvald on some manner of escapade. Have you any idea what we've gotten ourselves into? I'll need to explain. It'll be something of a history lesson, but I'll try to be brief. No snoring, if you please. Now, the events I would speak of occurred before the occupation, back when Alamiga was still a monarchy and Theodoric sat on the throne. A uniquely brute despot by all accounts. That he was. King of Ruins suffered no rivals, real or imagined, and his dispute with the monks of the Fist ended with Ralgar's Reach being burned to the ground. In the latter years of his rule, he was seized by the unshakable belief that unseen forces were conspiring to steal his crown, and so he ordered that every soul with a claim to the throne be executed, including his own family. The wealth of the poor sods he put to death became the property of the king, and it's said that these royal treasures were hoarded somewhere in the palace. Thus was born the legend of the Mad King's trove. Ah, I believe I see the direction our adventure is to take. I assume you have a mind to unearth this hidden bounty? You assume correctly. And would I also be correct in assuming that this legend is widely known? Others must surely have gone in search of your prize, tempted as it seems. Well, of course we won't be the first to make the attempt. Following Alamigan liberation, more than a few eager soldiers turned the palace upside down in hopes of claiming an easy fortune. But even after scouring every room from dawn till dusk, they uncovered not a single coin. Their gold lust drained away as quickly as it came. And the legend of the Mad King's trove remains simply that, a legend. But I see you have no intention of letting the story end there. What self-respected adventurer would? Imagine the three of us delving into a decades-old mystery. Tell me, thought doesn't set your heart racing. Ah, we're getting these, okay. The news of Domin Alamigo's liberation has kindled the flames of revolution in every corner of the empire. I hear the imperial province of Dalmasca has already given up rebellion. Which means the Gallians must surely have their hands full. What better time than now to indulge in such a diversion? Tell us, Arnvald, have we any clues as to where we might begin our search? Well, judging by how the other treasurers have fared, nosing about the palace isn't gonna get us anywhere. So we probably need to, ask around. Would that be another way of saying no? Yeah. I see. In that case, I shall pay a visit to the Allied Archives and request access to the records seized from the Imperials. The Guardians are meticulous about such things. If they uncovered the trove during their occupation, the event is certain to have been recorded. In the meantime, you two can track down those who worked at the palace, servants, and officials in Theodoric's day. Given that they would have been at least 20 at the time, you'll be looking for people who have seen 40 summers or more. Anything they can tell you about the king and his bloody deeds may prove useful, so be sure to listen well. Arnvald, pray try your luck in the fringes and the peaks, while Saphrine makes the rounds for the Alamigan quarter. Ha! And there I was thinking I was the party leader. Not that I mind, of course. Let's be about it, eh? Waited afterwards at Garbal's gate. Alright, the boys split it up. And I did remember to get that one. Not making that mistake for at least one video. In the palace? No, not me, Les. Surely you've heard some stories of the Mad King. He used to hold public executions on the divine audience. Anyone with, and I mean anyone, suspected of conspiring against the crown was flung out from the top of these steps. Suffice to say, I stayed as far away from the palace as possible. Yep, I still need to do that. You want to hear an old mate's stories, do you? Well, most of what I know is the Mad King is common knowledge. We only see His Royal Majesty when he deigned to attend the executions he ordered. After a while, even watching his enemies die wasn't enough to coax him out of hiding. They say he started seeing assassins in every shadow, and wouldn't set foot outside the palace walls. I was offered work there as a royal servant once. The mere thought of it left me in a cold sweat. Yep, that dementia definitely hits hard. I served as the pleasure of King Theodoric and lived to tell the tale. One of the palace guards I was. Truth be told, it was a dark chapter in my life and one I'd sooner forget. Hardly a night went by when we didn't hear blood-curdling screams echoing from the inner chambers, which, of course, were under the orders to ignore. So we'd stand still as statues, not trying to imagine what horrors were unfolded within. If you're hell's bent on finding out what happened in the palace, head down the street here and ask old Aaron. He was in the king's head scribe. Yes, I'm Aaron. What do you want with me? Yeah, you'd have me dredge up some decidedly unsavory memories? Yet if Alamago is to move forward, we must needs acknowledge the misdeeds of the past. Very well, I shall teach you what I remember. I take it you know of Theodoric's paranoia and public execution of his kinsmen? Those were terrible enough, but in his last days the king's fevered mind settled upon an even grislier method of disposal, which only a chosen few were unfortunate enough to witness. His Majesty ordered the court tharmages to unleash a vile curse upon the remaining members of the royal family, a magic which transformed the fiends in of a hideous aspect. The resulting monstrosities were then cast into the darkness below the palace. Even now my sleep is troubled by nightmares. The others of Theodoric's blood were prone to share in madness, and mayhap it is a kindness that the monarchy, ended with him. Oh. Bring in a fourth more voice, more void sense. Always a good thing. No. We want to go to the gate to get out of Alamigo. Or not. Since we're all here, why don't we share what we've learned? Allow me to begin, then. As promised, I scoured the Imperial records for any mention of fantastical treasures, and found precisely none. It is just possible, I suppose, that a corrupt official deliberately hid the fact that the trove's treasure discovery, hoping to enrich himself, but I find it rather unlikely that so valuable a find would stay secret for long. I conclude that our prize either does not exist, or that the Imperials somehow overlooked it. But what of you, Saphrine? Were you able to investigate any more fruitful? Turned into monsters? What could he mean by this darkness beneath the palace, I wonder? Met an old man in Algiri who spoke of the palace's subterranean prisons, but he said naught of cursed abominations. The Imperial Archives were also silent on the subject of fiends inside the palace grounds. Could the scribe fellow have been spinning a yarn, do you think? Do you believe him, Saphrine? Yeah, he seems scared enough. If he was afraid, that does lend credence to the tale, though I'm not sure how much that helps us in our search. Do not be hasty. Arnold's antidote may very well have told us where the trove is hidden, but ere I share my theory, there is a matter I would clarify. Arnold, you spoke of light-hearted adventure, but I sense a deeper motive for this expedition. Why are you so intent on finding this treasure? It wasn't all pretense, I swear it. But you were right. My father was in the Imperial Army, a man of Garlean blood. Does you know what I mean when I say I have my Alamegan mother did not welcome my arrival? As I grew, she would check my brow over and over, convinced that a spot on my skin was emerging a third eye. Like the kind you see in pure-blood Garleans. My mother did not care for this taunting reminder of my heritage and took up a knife. War paint served to cover that scar. In the end, she turned me out into the street, and I was left to haunt the alleys of Alamigo. Feral child who got what he needed through begging, cunning, or worse. Best I can say about my years that followed is that I survived. But I hated the animal I'd become. Eventually, I left the city behind me and joined a group of refugees bound for the other side of the wall. It was then that I turned to adventuring, and that road led me into the company of the Scions. I tell you this so that you understand. I know all too well what poverty and hunger can do to a person. I do steal on ordinary folk for a measly crust of bread. With Theoretic's gold, I could spare my countrymen the shame of living like that. Thank you, Arnvald, and I apologize that I cannot be pleasant to recall. But I felt it best to be clear in our intentions. Well, Saphrine, are you content to surrender the treasure to Arnvald's noble cause and claim a thrill of adventure as your reward? As long as we get to play with the treasure first. Then I should be glad to tell you my theory on the resting place of the Mad King's Trove, if you're mind to hear it. Just, give me 5 minutes to shower and play with the gold and jewels and such. That's all I ask. Actually, mayhap it would be better if we first adjourn to a more suitable location. In case a rival treasure hunter overhears our plan, you mean? Good thinking. That was not exactly the reason, but 'tis a certain valid concern. Let us reconvene on the southern edge of Lochshield. Alright, now we can go outside the gate. Nope. Alright, where are the boys? Up here. Forgive me, it was not my intention to draw out proceedings. I simply wish to have a lock in sight while I explain things. Prior to the Great Flood of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, the Salt Lake, as you see before you, were yet dry ravines. And this, believe it or not, was the site of the ancient city of Scala, which rose and fell during the Fifth Astral Era. From what we know of the period, the city was already deserted by the time the waters began to rise, having been all but destroyed by war. Yet it is the ruins remain to this day at the bottom of Lochshield. It is my belief that the darkness beneath the palace mentioned by Theodoric's former scribe was not a reference to the prison, but to the place still further below, the ruins of Skulls. I further surmise that the Mad King's unfortunate kinsmen were cast down there not simply out of desire to punish them, but to discourage exploration. Theodoric wanted to keep the ruins secure. Wait, you're saying they were meant to guard the Mad King's trove? Precisely. And since we know the court Tharmagers was involved, we can safely assume that any entrance into the old city has been magically concealed. Which would explain how a legion of Imperial soldiers and God knows how many Alamegans never found a trace of the trove. We, however, have a certain advantage that which they did not enjoy. Saphrine, would you be so good as to swim down to the bottom of the loch and search for an underwater route into the ruins? While you do that, Arenvald and I will seek an ensorcered portal within the palace. What, Elfino, you're not going to try to swim here? I do believe I have to go underneath that. Let's check this first. I have a feeling it's here. Could be wrong. Nope, that's MSQ. Said the bottom, right? Alright. Press on. Saphrine, it's Elfino. We have searched the prison beneath the palace and found a teleportation circle concealed by enchantments. Markings indicate it leads to an underground cavern. What news on your end? And you believe it leads into the ruins? Then I dare say we have been able to meet within? Go on and head through the door. By the way, I took the liberty of calling on a friend for help. I guarantee she's both dependable and discreet. We'll see you soon. And who is this friend of yours? A secret lover, maybe? Lord knows the boy has one in every port. Alright, this one is a fun fiasco. Arnville, all of them, please. Thank you. There we go. Oops, wrong button. Alright, okay, come on. There's much more to discover.
Down with you!
Seriously? Alright, these little guys. Come on. Oops. I need to move that a little. And make sure we get the big one. This is gonna hurt. Put out the note to the chest. Choo-choo-choo. Oh, wow, that one's already down. Must have been focusing. Yeah. Now we can deal with horse. Kelpie? Yep. That's a cluster. Raid wide. And now you're gonna be fun and start pushing us around. Hey, guess what? There it goes. And that's the pole. So, we go all the way over here. It sucked all the way across. Not sure how that proc, but sure.
Leave it to me.
That is one weird way of getting that achievement. Oh, good. Get in at all three corners. Push. Yep. Alright. Good. Yeah, that's not sure. Alright. Now for the area of irregularities.
Try this. Away with you.
Stop charging me. Next up, you can have fun with those. Yep, yep, yep. And we're gonna do more. Oh. Should have moved there a little, Alpha. Yeah, that's not good. Trying to think who the last one here is. I want to say it's Standing Chimera, but I don't believe so. Been a while. I think the next one up is the teapot. Whatever. Ow. Yuck. Yay! Didn't get targeted with that.
Focus. Release.
Open. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what we're supposed to call this thing. Since we don't have an Alisei, oh, I am screwed. I was not expecting that to happen. Oh, this fun part. Use the abilities to load the ads. And right as I burn an ability too. That's gonna get to be annoying. Ooh, not good. Further down. Now it's where it gets annoyingly irregular. What the hell was that? Owie. Yep. Love trying to see pull wall to walls in here. Oops. That is really getting me annoying.
I have my prize. Leave it to me.
Alright, here's one. Uh-oh.
Away with you.
I hope you like to move, because we do this all the time. It's like soloing a treasure dungeon at this point. Yeah. And we'll just finish these off to deal with the big guy. And his fun, untelegraphed telegraphs. Manticore, not Chimera, that's what he is. Manticore. I missed one. Yeah, I missed one. Shit. That wind-up is a frontal cleave, and he'll do one with his tail in a moment. Which will be for the back.
Away with you.
That's your typical flare, which hurts like hell. Personal base donut. And the good old Medusa look away.
Leave it to me.
He's got a few things up his sleeves. this fun mechanic from Emanation. I believe he's doing a line attack. Yep. Let's raise this up a little. Another one. And because you didn't like the first two, he's got a third. That's the tail again. And they hugged that hit zone very well. That's the frontal. Boom, boom, boom. These should leave puddles, I believe. Nope. Do so. That's front. That's the back. And I'll pop it. Close enough. There we go. Final Guardian down. Not sure I'd call this a treasure vault, but it is definitely a vault. And yeah, he does look to be pretty mad.
It would appear this place is yet inhabited by King Theodoric's kin, or what is left of them. The work of terrible magics, I fear.
Terrible, aye. But their misfortune is our fortune?
One way to look at it.
Quite. By the 12, there is even more than I imagined.
Oh, I can't wait to see the look on Lisa's face. Thanks for believing in me, you two.
Onwards and I tried to do our fair share, but I fear you end up bearing the burden of the as usual. You truly led the way with your adventuring prowess, my friend. Without your help, I reckon we'd still be fumbling around in the dark. I'm glad I called on you. I must say, I'm still reeling at the sight of the Mansion of Riches. What, like how you reeled at the sight of a floating specter, you mean? I wish I could have seen the look on your face. You could have seen the look on your face, Alphino. Must we dwell on such momentary lapses? We found them in King's Trove. That is all that matters. Oh, just an aside, we must tell the people the good news, and I think Leash should be the first. Seconded. She is bound to be delighted. If I'm no longer needed, I shall take my leave. Of course, don't let us keep you. Thanks again. Say hello to from, for me. Now then, there is to be a meeting of the representatives from across Alamigo, so Lise is sure to be in the city. Shall we seek her out? I get the feeling that it's not going to be one. Oh, you three looked pleased with yourselves. What have you been up to? Glad you asked, Glace, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna like to hear the answer. You're joking. The Mad King's Trop? I thought it was a myth. So did plenty of people. They didn't have Saphrine and Alphino in their party. Credit for finding it should really go to them. As for what to do with it, I vote that it goes towards alleviating the suffering of Alamigan's poor. Gods, if there's as much as you say. Arnval did not exaggerate, I assure you. We could not hope to carry even a fraction of it on our own. I have taken the liberty of sketching out rough maps to the ruins. If you will assemble a squad of your most trusted freedom fighters, they should be able to follow the route to where the treasure lies. Understood. I'll make sure every coin is accounted for, and that goes for spending of it as well. Thank you. Oh, and there's one other thing. When the time comes to draw a plan for distributing spoils, I would ask that you consult Alphino. I don't have a head for details. I'm not educated. Simply see that simply handing out sacks of gale won't solve everything, but I couldn't rightly tell you what to do instead. Oh, I know the feeling. I'd welcome any advice you could give us, Alphino. Of course. I shall be at your disposal. Commander, we've got a problem. Deep breaths. Tell me what's happened. A mob's gathered outside headquarters. They've started making demands. You best come and see for yourself.
Step back, all of you!
Like hells we will! We know who you've got in there!
We're not leaving till you hand her over!
Bring her out! Bring her out!
What's
Well.
going on?
They don't seem to be fond of a certain someone.
Someone let slip about Fedora.
It's true then! The bitch really is in there! I knew it! I bloody knew it! We demand vengeance! Bring her out! Today we butcher the butcher!
Come on, you don't mean that! We'd be no better than the Imperials if you'd all just calm down!
Calm down! That monster and her thrice damned skulls dragged my man from our home and beat him to death in the street!
Aye, and my dad! That bitch has spilt enough blood to fill a lock!
We all know her crimes. She's a traitor and a murderer. How many of your resistance friends have died at her hands, eh? And here you are, protecting her!
So that's what all the fuss is about. Hearken to me, brothers and sisters of Alamigo.
Hey, who's this?
Who's this? Really?
That's the Bull of Alamigo.
My friends, you are not alone in your anger, your grief, your despair, for it is mine as well. That gnawing pain in your breast, it is enough to bring an old bull to his knees. But I ask you, brothers and sisters, to think not only of the family and friends who were cut down before your very eyes, but to think also of the ones who were abducted, the ones who may yet live. Where were they taken? What became of them? These questions demand answers. I share your thirst for justice, for vengeance. But we will gain only fleeting satisfaction if we give in to our base appetites. We will never know the truth. Now is the time that we, the people of Alamigo, must decide what manner of nation we will build for ourselves, and for generations yet unborn. When they look to our example, will they see a people who held fast to their principles, or one who cast them aside when tried? I say to you, it is our responsibility to give these prisoners a fair trial, that they might answer to all of Alamigo. The Garleans called us savages, and I'll be damned if we prove them right.
I know you're right, I do, but I can't.
My thanks, Raban. Listening to their anger, I could feel myself being swept away.
It is a difficult tide to stem. That was the same rage which brought us to our feet and carried us to victory. But now the war is over. All of the unspent fury is being channeled into vengeance.
Aye, and it's not just here. We have reports of mobs forming all over. They've been targeting folk known to have cooperated with the Guardians. Starts with the insults most often, then someone picks up a stone. Some industrious souls even thought to seek out the graves of Xenos and his officers. It was grim. I want to build a country where everyone, regardless of race or origin, can live side by side in peace. But maybe the time isn't right. Maybe the people just aren't ready. That doesn't mean I'm not going to try. Representatives will be here soon, and I'll be damned if I'm going to give up before I've even begun.
Who are these representatives exactly?
Oh, village elders, refugee leaders, and the like. Wouldn't be right for us to just dictate the nation's future on our own, so we've planned a summit of our sorts. We've even invited the Anata and the Kirin to participate.
Alamigo stands at the crossroads. This is a meeting to decide which path it takes. The matter of Fordola's sentence cannot be suffered to disrupt the proceedings.
Then let's just execute her and be done with it. She herself asked to be put to death. Nago, I already explained we wouldn't do that. Sending her to the gallows might satisfy people right now, but where would we end? Should we round up everyone who collaborated and everyone who didn't resist? There would be no one left, and we'd be no better than Theodoric and Xenos.
I beg your pardon, but might I be allowed to speak with Fordola? Only I caught a glimpse of her past, a moment of it anyway, during the fight. She's done terrible things, unforgivable things, but in some ways she's a victim of the circumstance in which she was born. That's something I can understand.
All right. Speak with the prison guard when you're ready, and I'll come and join you. I want to talk to her, too.
I'll return to my other duties. Then, we've barely begun to investigate the facilities where they gave Fordola her powers. Be fairly warned, friends. She will test you. Don't let your emotions color your judgment when she does.
Oops. Don't want to speak with you.
So many visitors. Come to have a good laugh, have you? Or do you mean to put me out of my misery? To finish what you started? It's about bloody time.
That's not why we're here, no. Do you remember what I said? How I promised you you'd live long enough to see us win our freedom. Well, I meant it. And not to mock you either.
You're wasting your time. All of this is pointless! There's no reason to keep me alive, and you know it! I killed your men. I killed my men. And you know what my only regret is? That I didn't kill you when I had the chance!
That's a lie, and you know it! You think we can't tell what you're trying to do? That we're blind?
Looking for the easy way out.
You're not stupid. You're ruthless. Relentless. You'd give up anything and everything to get what you want. You didn't come this far, climbing over the bodies of your own brothers and sisters just to piss it all away. I see you, Fordola. I see you for what you are.
Come along, Fordola. We mustn't be late. The Imperial Viceroy will be attending today's banquet.
All right! Father, what's Lord Gaius like? Is he nice? Are you friends?
There you go again with all your questions. Lord Gaius is a great and honourable man who looks after all of Alamigo. He's very busy, and if we don't hurry, we'll miss our chance to see him.
Filthy tin-head lovers.
Father, what did that man call us?
The little tin-head lover doesn't know what she is, eh? A traitor, sweetheart. A backstabbing bitch who gladly betray her kith and kin to gnaw on what few scraps the Imperials deign to toss her. Like your bastard father and whore mother.
Jesus.
That's not true! My parents are good people! They've never done anything like that!
Oh, but they were quick to help themselves and their bitch spawn, weren't they? You're just as guilty as them.
Fadola!
Traitors!
Please, you have to do something. My husband and daughter are in danger.
Soldiers of the Imperial Army are under no obligation to intervene in the disputes of arms.
We're citizens. We have rights. I'm scared.
It's all right. It's all right. They don't understand, but they'll see in time. They'll see that this is the only way to survive. Traitors! Traitors!
Let the savages have their fun. They'll be more compliant once they've tired themselves out.
Fadola, please. You already have citizenship. Why would you want to become a soldier?
Vengeance.
Oh, gods. What have you done to your face?
Forgotten it already, have you? I'm honoring Father's memory.
By telling the world that you know better than a common savage.
Am I though, Mother? Are any of us? Can't you see? Citizenship means nothing to them. If you're not a pure-blood Garlean, you're no different from any other savage. So I'll play the part. I'll join the Legion and I'll make them respect me. And when the mob see that, they'll think twice before throwing their stones.
And it was effective for a time.
Ansfrid, Rudolph, Emlyn. It's time. It'll be hard. Humiliating. They'll try to break us. Send us crawling back to our own kind. But we won't, no matter what. We'll bleed for them, die for them if we have to. We'll do whatever it takes to be free!
So, you mean to play the part one last time, eh? The unrepentant traitor whose death will serve to unite the people?
Shut up.
You had every chance to kill yourself. Fashion a noose from your clothes. Wait for the guards to leave you alone long enough to slip it over your neck.
I said shut up!
Oh, but then it would have all been for nothing, wouldn't it? Whatever it takes. That's what you said.
Been in my head, have you? Had a little peek at my past? And what? A few stolen memories tell you everything you need to know, do they? Don't you dare patronize me! You don't know a god's damned thing about the life I've led! The bastards that killed him. The bastards that let it happen. My father deserved better! I swore I'd do whatever it took to make them pay! You. All that power. All that pain. It's too much. Too much for anyone. The things they've done to you. The lies. The betrayal. The endless fighting. Yet there you stand. Unbroken.
Sundered.
How? Why?
Yeah, go with that.
Damn you. Damn you all.
You still have time, Fordola. Think about how you want to spend it. Let's go.
I don't know that we solved anything exactly, but we've given Fordola something to think about at least.
Aye. And I've found something new to think about, too. I don't know about you, Saphrine, but the visions only come to me every now and then. And the way Fordola came to Winston, though, with the feeling she's having them almost all the time. That's a lot of bad memories to deal with.
I wonder, could there be some fundamental difference between the one who is born with Echo and the one who has been artificially imbued with it? Well, the Immortal Flames have been scouring that research facility ever since Liberation. There's a chance they might have some answers for us. General Alden's there overseeing the investigation. Let's go pay him a visit, shall we? Where? Yeah, she only glimpsed a small bit, but understood everything that we've been through. But considering what this Dr. Luigwe light wannabe did to her, who knows? Seriously. Well, anyway.
Yeah, what's news? Spoke with Fordola, I take it.
Yes, as expected, she didn't say very much. But it wasn't a total waste of time. Arnvald noticed something odd about her. He thinks she might have been having visions almost constantly. Just not how the Echo normally works. You found anything here which might explain why it is so different for her?
We've been hard-pressed just to organize the research material, let alone study them. To be frank, I'd welcome the Scion's expert assistance. If you have the time to lend a hand.
The Ironworks received a request from the Alliance to analyze these devices, and I've been recording everything of interest. Did you notice the labeling? All the pods were designed to drain the ether of the occupant. Save that one right there. Unlike the others, the interior has been fitted with an array of sensors to measure etheric waveforms. What purpose, however, I couldn't tell you.
So many bodies, everyone a victim of these experiments. Few show any signs of external injury. From what we've been able to determine, he perished from forcible ether extraction. Such a miserable way to die.
That's a lot of experimentation.
I know little and less else of science, so any light you can shed on this facility's operations would be much appreciated. Saphrine, shall we start with you?
Taken into combination with the testimony of Cryo and Thancred, I do begin to see exactly what the Imperials were attempting here. The enhancement procedure entails infusing a single candidate with the ether siphoned from a multitude of supply subjects. As for the master subject, in this case Cryo, the patterns of her etheric activity would provide the model upon which they would artificially engineer a candidate's aura. In other words, they were trying to recreate Cryo's echo. I believe so, which would explain our prisoner's present state. Cryo is possessed of an unrivaled ability to hear the whispers of the soul, and it seems probable that the procedure engendered the same acute sensitivity in Fordola. The soldiers who guard Fordola, many of them lost friends and family to the skulls. There's a sentry at her door night and day. She can't help sensing their thoughts and seeing their past.
But you don't just see their past, you live it. All the emotions, all the pain. Imagine what it'll do to you. You'd never be the same again.
Indeed. As you may recall, your sail was completely transformed by a single glimpse of Resvelga's past. Fordola has been forced to experience the agony of those who live lives you destroyed. The guilt must be unbearable. That explains her request to be executed.
Sounds to me like a kind of justice. Regardless, she can suffer for now. We have more pressing matters to concern. If the results of these experiments have been relayed back to Garlemald, there may be naught to stop the Empire from repeating the trick. They could give the echo to anyone, to an entire legion. Must be ready. Must learn all we can of these gods' forsaken procedures, and Fordola remains our best source of information. She'll not be getting her wish. Not yet.
Right.
Keep faith, lass. If you're convinced you're to convince others to follow you, you must believe what you're telling them. People will respond to passion, not if it's feigned.
I understand. Thank you, General. We should leave the flames to it. Let's go. Every night of every day, having to relive all that stuff over and over again. I go looking for answers about the Echo and end up getting schooled by Ralbon. Yet more evidence that I don't know what I'm doing. It's no wonder people listen to him and not me. General Alden is a veteran of countless campaigns, Lise. You cannot compare yourself to a commander of his expertise. I know, but I also know that I couldn't have convinced that mob to give up and go home. Makes me realize how much we rely on his authority and how much I still have to learn.
Wonder what he'll do when everything here is settled. I mean, it's his homeland. After going through the trouble of winning it back, might he not want to stay?
'Tis a quandary which countless refugees now face. To continue the life they built in Uldar, or start again in the land of their birth. Saphrine, a moment. I am newly returned from Uldar with a message from the Sultana. Her Grace desires an audience with you. She understands you have your responsibilities here, but asks that you give the visit the palace at your earnest convenience. Well, I must away and attend to other business. Till next time, my friends. An audience with the Sultana? Depending on the nature of her consultation, this might be the perfect opportunity to inquire about the General's future plans. Yes, we'd all like to know about those, Alphino, but not everyone as comfortable interrogating royalty as you. Take no notice of him, Saphrine. Well, considering last time we were alone with the Sultana, we got accused of regicide. So, you know. Well, the question of how to put the Mad King's treasure is to good use shows no sign of answering itself. Shall we be about to dive involved?
I'm at your beck and call.
And I should get back to my own tasks. I'll organize a squad to head down to the ruins and start preparing for the big meeting. Oh, send down my regards, Saphrine. And ours too, if you please. We shall see you on your return.
Sure, leave me with dealing with Lala. Oh, wait. Wrong character.
Dun, dun. And we had to... There. Oops. Okay. And that is... There, right. I can do two. Just in case. There we go. Pretty sure it's one of these.
I thank you for answering my summons in these most interesting times. You have been busy.
Jealous?
The liberation of Alamigo will have far-reaching consequences, and there is a matter upon which I would seek your counsel. I speak of Rauban and his future.
Even she's
All
thinking
know
about
the
it.
tale of his rise from penniless refugee to member of the Syndicate and General of the Immortal Flames. Yet though he has come to call Uldar home, it will never be his homeland. He is a son of Alamigo. And now that she is free, I thought it only a matter of time before he sought my leave to return to her. Indeed, I had resigned myself to his loss. Suffice it to say, I was greatly surprised to hear him speak so lightly of handing over the reins in Alamigo and retaking his place at my side. I will welcome him with open arms, of course. He is my most trusted advisor and my dearest friend. But I have known the man a long time, and beneath that steely gaze, I spied a flicker of doubt. Whether Rauban chooses to remain in Uldar or return to Alamigo, I only wish that he do so with a heart unburdened by guilt or regret. Yet, how can he freely make such a choice, knowing how much I depend on him? It is past time that I learned to discharge my duties as a sultana alone. I must go forth and see my realm with my own eyes, and hear the wind with my own ears. Might I have your company for a brief adventure?
Are we having...
Allow me a moment to change into something a touch less conspicuous, and I will join you outside.
A brief, unauthorized eloping from the house? Where are you? Yet another troll-making Lala. Perchance you remember Lilia, the merchant's daughter? This is my persona, which I assume when I venture beyond the palace walls to observe my subjects unnoticed. Ordinarily, Papa Shan would accompany me, but for this particular outing, I need an advisor, not a minder. And that is why I requested your company. Over the course of many of your adventures, you have met people from all walks of life in every corner of Eorzea, and I would like to make use of your worldly experience. Now, let us be on our way. Our first destination is Stone's Throw, just beyond the gates of Nald, a stone's throw away. For those who don't remember, the whole merchant's daughter thing was the intro quest for the Ul'dah storyline. In ARR, at least. 1.0 was completely different. Look upon this procession of tattered tents. These refugees camp in squalor, at the mercy of the elements and Thanland's predators both. Cities' mighty walls might offer safety, but the streets overflow with people as it is. And unless blessed by the hand of Nald himself, no refugee could hope to afford dwelling in Ul'dah. 20 years have passed since the fall of Alamigo, and 5 since the calamity, yet the plight of our poor has grown more desperate, not less. As Sultana, the blame falls upon me. Don't take it all on yourself. A certain Teleji definitely didn't help. Then my best has not been good enough. Shall we press on? I would follow the road to the Unholy Air. Which is... now it's over by the toads. Keep going. It was here, in this wholly unremarkable place, that my mother and father met their doom. I was but a child at the time. My parents were returning from an inspection of our interests in eastern Thanland, when an untimely rockslide crushed their carriage. To this day, it's not certain if the incident was a simple misfortune or an expertly planned assassination. Raban has once offered to reopen the investigation and bring me the truth he assumed I must surely crave, but I refused. Even if my parents' death were orchestrated by the monetarist, we could only have brought them their hirelings to justice. The true villains, those who plotted to put me on the throne as a biddable puppet, were ever beyond our reach. Thus did I plan to strip the merchants of their power and place our nation in the hands of the citizens, quite unaware of the consequences my actions would have for you and yours. I shudder to think of how many goodly souls paid the price of my naivety. But I am no longer a child reciting words with witless obedience. I will not be used as a pawn in the monetarist damnable games. Oh. Forgive me my outburst. You're one of the few people to whom I can feel I can speak my mind. Come, let us return to Ul'dah and visit the Colosseum. Of course you want to see the blood sport. From the moment I became Sultana, I found myself thrust into an endless parade of document signing and ceremonies. For years, I simply signed where I was told to sign and sat where I was told to sit, blissfully oblivious to what any of it meant. Yet one good thing did come from that ignominious chapter of my life. For it was during that unofficial visit to the Colosseum that I first met Raoban. The match I had been invited to attend was not at all what I expected. They had pitted the Bull of Alamigo against some dozen or so rival gladiators. Blinkered though I was, I would not stand for so obvious an injustice, and demanded to see a fair fight, one man against another, and my royal wish was duly granted. It was not until later that I learned of the gambling ring which had arranged for Raoban to die on the sands that day. Regardless, my intervention meant that Raoban had but a single opponent to dispatch, which he duly did. And when he knelt before me to receive a winner's purse, he swore that he would one day offer me his blade in service. Surrounded as I was by liars and manipulators, I confess I dismissed it as a pleasant piece of theater. But as you know, Raoban is a man of his word. Though it took him another 5 years of fighting on the blood sands, he amassed a fortune so great as to buy not only his freedom, but a seat on the syndicate. And then I had my blade.
Your Grace, you mustn't! The danger is too great! Please, Your Grace, come back! I beg of you!
It seems you're the one who needs looking after, Master Shum. Raoban!
Your Grace, I have kept the promise made.
So you have, and in turn, so too shall I keep mine. With your winnings, you have become one of the 6 most wealthy souls in all Ul'dah, and so, as tradition dictates, Raoban Aldin, you have earned yourself a seat on the Syndicate. May your new station garner you still greater glories.
I am honored, Your Grace, and vow to serve with every fiber of my being from this day till my last.
That music choice is
Long live the Sultana, and long
a choice.
live
Words cannot express what that man means to me. There are others who deeply care for my well-being, of course. Papa Shan's love for me is all that of a grandsire for his grandchild. But upon matters of governance, I cannot turn to bodyguards and maidservants for counsel. Ralban, with his authority of his syndicate position, was the first sword I could wield. His was the only edge which could cut the strings that bound me. We must make haste. My absence will not go unnoticed by the Sultan Sworn for long. There are other places I would visit. To Arzanath Quasuary. Don't recognize that name. Oh, Thaumage's Guild. Okay. Never really called it by its official name. When the calamity threatened, Rauban led the Alliance forces into battle on the plains of Cartano, and I remained here. I prayed with all my heart that Archon Louisoix would have the power to rouse the 12. Since that day, I have made a custom of visiting this shrine during each of my little excursions. Here I seek the blessing of Thal, reflect upon my choices, and ask myself if I am fulfilling my duties as Sultana. You are rightly celebrated as a champion because you have led the line in 100 battles for the good of Eorzea. In much the same way, I believe the measure of a monarch lies in how she leads her people in times of adversary. If I am to be a sultana worthy of the name, I cannot turn a blind eye to the troubles facing Ul'dah. I have chosen my path, Saphrine. With Alamigo now freed from imperial chains, I finally see a way to aid the refugees. Already, many displaced Alamegans seek to begin the long trek home. To facilitate the process, I have made a small contribution, an artisan school in Ralgar's Reach, for any who wish to learn new trades. Realistically, however, it will take years for such training to yield tangible benefits. We do not have years. These people will need shelter and employment if they are to survive. And this time, the Ul'dah treasury shall provide. Precisely where and how to allocate the necessary funds is, of course, another question. Sure, Lolorito's gonna have his objections, but... A wise suggestion. Mayhap a visit to the Gold Saucer is in order. Its proprietor is a member of the Syndicate, and he is one of the few who pay refugees a fair wage. I wonder, are you acquainted with Godbert Manderville? We're going no on that one. That's right, I haven't even done the Manderville quest lines and stuff. Well, he is a most generous man. Something of an eccentric. Let us make our way to the landing. I will see that word is sent to the Gold Saucer. Godbert should be the only one glad. Only too glad to receive us. I've ridden aboard a public airship before, but this should be my first visit to the Gold Saucer. Must confess to some excitement. I had heard descriptions of its splendor, yet I never dreamed it would be so bright and inviting.
Focus.
No, I couldn't possibly. I did not come here to fritter away the royal coin. Godbert will be expecting us. Come, let us head directly to the lounge and ignore these gaudy temptations.
No Lala can resist the thrill of earning Gil.
Oh, I haven't gotten that one, really. Well, now I have. I believe this is where we are to meet Lord Manderville. Shall we sit a while and we wait his coming?
My apologies, Your Grace. I have kept you waiting.
No apologies are necessary, Godbert. My request was sudden, and you are kind to make yourself available at such short notice.
When the Sultana herself comes calling, there is no more important engagement.
As to the purpose of my visit, I would have your thoughts on how the Crown might best aid the refugees residing at Thanalan. You are aware, I am sure, that many of Alamigo's displaced sons and daughters long to return to their newly liberated homeland. And you are also aware of how they will suffer without shelter and work to sustain them? I would use our nation's wealth to spare them that suffering. What advice have you for me on how it might best be distributed?
The unusual circumstance of our meeting and Your Grace's choice of companion would suggest me to desire for an honest and unvarnished opinion. I shall give you one. My advice to you is stop. Taxing Ulda's wealth to save Alamigan refugees is a terrible, terrible idea.
You oppose my proposition?
Most empathetically, I agree with Your Grace that the refugees must have housing and employment. And I really wish that announcement would stop. But what profit is there for Ulda in this arrangement?
Profit? After all you have done for Garibania's displacement, I thought you the very last person to seek benefit from their misfortune.
Forgive me, Your Grace, but you appear to be laboring under the misapprehension. It is a fine endeavor to support one's fellow man. I fear, however, that your stance is one born of pity,
Your intent is to save the refugees, is it not? For all our potential, we are indolent creatures by nature. If unconditional charity is all we know, then we begin to rely upon it, to expect it. And then we must consider Ul'dah our poor and Uldah's own poor and downtrodden. Should they hear of you spending the nation's coin not to improve their lot, but to nurture the distant citizens of Alamigo, it is unlikely they will applaud your generosity. Surely it is not your grace's intention to foster new resentment, but to spread goodwill? Indeed. Then any support I pledge to the refugees must promote self-sufficiency, whilst also serving to the interests of the people of Ul'dah. Exactly so. Such an arrangement will create a far more equitable relationship with the returning Alamegans, even as it generates the revenue required to win the approval of your subjects. You have given me much to ponder, Lord Mandeville. I thank you for your candor. Dun dun. Ah, there we go. Prophet. The thought had never crossed my mind. But standing about lamenting my naivety will not do anyone any good. I shall consider my lesson learned and press on. Saphrine, are you perchance acquainted with any successful merchants? My attempt at philanthropy is obliged to reap a profit. It would seem wise to consult someone with a knack for business. Ordinarily, I would not trust any agent of East Aldernon Trading Company, but if you hold this Hancock fellow in high esteem, I'm content to be led by you. You may repay my faith by journeying to distant Kugane and speaking with him on my behalf. Eager though I am to visit the shores, I have not the leisure for a lengthy sea voyage. Now, assuming you will travel as adventurers are wont to, I shall await your report by the Aetheryte in Ul'dah. A fair journey to you, Saphrine, and a swift one, if you please. Okay. Going back out east. This has been a lengthy one thus far. It's only 0.1. Alright. Let's go talk to our idiot. Dum, 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 dum. Give me this. Where are you? Saphrine, to what do I owe the pleasure? We're here on business. I beg your pardon? Her Grace the Sultana would have my opinion on how best to invest the wealth of Ul'dah. My dearest Saphrine, I have you to thank for this recognition, I am sure, and I am flattered that you came to me, truly flattered. Why settle for a lowly apprentice when you could have the master? Upon matters of profit, there is no living soul better qualified to answer Her Grace than Chairman Lalurito, a man whose morning exertions are said to fill his garter-robe with gold. That's a phrasing. I should be happy to arrange a meeting for you, say, at the Scion's former headquarters in Thedla. The Waking Sands would seem a suitable, neutral venue for negotiations, don't you think? Fare you well, Saphrine, and may your dealings prove fruitful. pretty sure Nanamo has been trying to avoid dealing with that swindler. Alright, where are you? Where are you? Ah, there you are. Welcome back, Saphrine. Did your merchant friend have any useful advice to share? With Lolorito? And you agreed to this? By my choice. I am well aware of his standing in the field of business, but I had hoped to keep the monetarist at arm's length. And him in particular. Nay, I cannot live in fear of the man. I must learn how to treat with him if I am to rule Ul'dah effectively. Very well. I will meet with Lolorito. Let us go ahead to the Waking Sands and prepare for his coming. So this is where the Scions first congregated. I have heard many tales, but I have never had occasion to visit. To work, then. The hour of the meeting draws near, and I would gather my thoughts. Pray see to it we have the appointed room to ourselves.
A personal summons from the Scions. This must be important business indeed. Though, if it concerns anything so underhand as an assassination, I fear I can be of little help.
Don't start.
You have made your point. 'Tis indeed unsettling to find oneself seated across from an impassive mask. There, would this better please your grace? Or should I address you as Lady Lilira?
Smartass.
Nay, the deception has served its purpose. I am glad to see you found amusement in my little jest, Lord Lolorito, but shall we proceed to the business at hand?
By all means. I must say I am most eager to hear your proposal.
Simply put, I would aid the refugees camped in Thanalan in their efforts to return to Alamigo. The reparations you paid in the wake of your earlier misdemeanors will be used to fund the endeavor, together with the fortune seized from the late Teleji Adeleji's estate. But this plan is not intended to benefit the displaced alone. I would make of this an investment which shall enrich Ul'dah and Alamigo both. And who better to consult on matters of profit than the wealthiest man in all of Thanalan? I beseech you then, Lord Lolorito, share with us your mercantile wisdom.
Ah, 'twould seem your grace has matured beyond acts of earnest yet misplaced charity. Pray tell me more. To summarize, In return for facilitating the repatriation of refugees and assisting in the establishment of new industry in Alamigo, you ask that a proportion of all subsequent profits be promised to Uldar. Huh, I am impressed, Your Grace. 'Tis an elegant solution, albeit one lacking certain crucial details, specifically which industry and where.
How swiftly you identified the weakness in my plan, just as I knew you would. Your travels have taken you across the length and breadth of Gir Abania, and you know the land far better than I. Which of the settlements you visited would best provide a home for our refugees? Which has the greatest potential to flourish, given the appropriate investment?
That's... sultry, I think?
Ah, yes, that desolate little village on the shore of Loch Seld. I know the Sultry and its products well. The Imperial invasion brought an end to their more widespread distribution, much to the dismay of many a wealthy gourmand, myself included. Salt has ever been a transformative ingredient, and in this instance, I dare say, it could transform a modicum of effort into a mountain of gil.
The local citizens will need to be consulted, of course, but I trust the East Aldenar Trading Company can be relied upon to provide its assistance in negotiating a mutually beneficial arrangement.
Naturally, Your Grace. I shall dispatch representatives well versed in the extraction of this white gold and wring every last ounce of profit from its production. The Loch's bounty will contribute to Alamigo's enrichment, whilst easing the burden on the bull's aching shoulders, just as Your Grace desired.
A deal is struck there.
Yeah, never getting between two Lalas making a deal of sorts. Never, never, never. I fear it will be many years before I feel completely comfortable taking part in such negotiations. But I shall not complain. We have piqued Lolorito's interest and secured his invaluable expertise. Thank you, Saphrine. Our course is decided. I shall return to the palace and have my ministers begin work on implementing the particulars of the plan. If I could prevail upon you once more, Saphrine, I would ask that you convey the details of our negotiations to Commander Hext on your return to Alamigo. My thanks again. Together, we have laid the groundwork for an endeavor which promises to benefit the peoples of Alamigo and Ul'dah both. Let's see if Lise has any chance of understanding this any better than I did. Saphrine, you're back! What did Nanimo say? Oh, sorry. Are you allowed to talk about that, your audience with the Sultana? So, Raoban says he's going to return to Ul'dah, but she isn't sure he wants to. Tell us something we don't know. But I'm pleased to hear she's committed to helping our refugees come home. And this plan to revitalize the Sultry does make a lot of sense. Quite how you convinced her to seek Lolorito's help is another question. After all that has happened, he is the very last person I would expect her to turn to for advice. But on a more practical note, Luis, assuming the intern government elects to accept Uldar's proposal, I have one caveat that I should like to include in the bargain. Alamigo must be committed to cover a portion of the investment. We have the fortune at our disposal, after all, and allowing Uldar to provide entirely of capital would afford Lolorito too much control. Honestly, Afner, it's like Kugani, it never happened. What exactly does a ruthless profiteer have to do to earn your trust? But yes, you do make a good point. First things first, though, we need to discuss this proposal with the Sultry residents. Whiskar, how do you fancy explaining the Sultana's plan to your grandfather? I'd like to hear what Watt thinks of the idea before agreeing to anything.
Right away, Commander. Would you mind coming along, Saphrine? I might need you to fill in the details.
And I shall come as well. Should Watt wish to discuss figures, my knowledge of the nation's finances may prove useful.
So the Sultry is over there. Okay, good.
I have gotten all of them this song, right? No. Shoot. We go and go and go.
Oh, not you. You! What manner of mischief brings you young'uns to Old Wad this time? They want to rebuild the Sultry, Grandad. Saphrine, tell about the deal. Well, bugger me. We never had the coin nor hands to put the place back how it was, but it sounds like that's about to change. Just one small wrinkle in your plan doesn't account for all the nasties queuing up to eat anyone who goes near the shore. The king used to send soldiers to cull the buggers, but the Imperials weren't about to help the likes of us. Don't worry, Granddad, we'll take care of that. Commander Hex has been talking about sending up regular patrols. I'm sure she'd assign me to the lock if I asked. I'd appreciate that, Whiskar, my lad. I truly would. So does that mean you've gotten better with that blade of yours? I've been training, but mostly to kill Imperials. You have some experience hunting monsters, don't you, Saphrine? Think you could cast an eye over a few of the local beasties and teach me how to deal with them? Let us not waste time, then. I'll see you by the locks.
Whilst you are busy attending to the local fauna, I shall have Master Watt explain to me exactly what is required to restore the Sultry to its former glory. Good hunting. Do we get to hit something?
Right then, Saphrine, I've got a spyglass. Here, you can use it to take a closer look at these pests. Once you've got their measure, you can tell me what to do, and we'll see how we get on.
on this mechanic. Believe. That is a Yaba, right? Ah, there we go. There we go. Jaw. Wow, that is a small window. Looks like you found a Yaba. They say hitting the shell's like smacking a rock. Any suggestions? I mean, the second option is always my decision, but... Vulnerable under its hit, are they? Right then. Wish me luck. Wow, he folded the fuck out of that thing. Thanks, Saphrine. I did just as you told me, and Wavekin went down like a sack of potatoes. Let's find something else. Oh, fuck, I wasn't expecting one right there. Anyway. Don't ask me how to take down a sprite, please. I think I could handle the yabbies now. Should we try something different? What else is out here? Oh my God. These windows are so small. There we go. Poking its eye is your strategy? No. Poking its eye is your strategy. Ugh, a faux bad. How do I defeat one of those? Again, option 2 is always my choice. Inside its head, is it? I'll try to stab it right between the eyes then. Or it could just go through the eye. Flatten that one. It's not easy fighting with the Liberator of Alamigo watching your every move. But I got the job done. Thanks for the eyes, Saphrine. Feel better prepared for my patrols now. Any rude. We should head back to the saltery before Grandad starts worrying, and I've been snipped to pieces and fed to the yappy hatchling. Wait, is that an A rank? I don't remember those being that far out. Yep, that is an A rank. Seriously, what are these hunt trains doing? Where are my market board taxes going if they're not taking out these A ranks and I have to avoid them constantly? I see you returned in one piece and dealt with those beasties then, did you? I fought them myself. But a bit of instruction from Saphrine here, like. Once I've shared what I've learned with the others, we should have no trouble keeping the shoreline clear. Good lad. Fine young man you've become, Whisker. A fine young man indeed. Too often of late, I hear tales of folk over in the city drunk on victory and hungering for revenge, their heads stuck firmly in the past. We need to set things on the future, on things which I'll improve our lot. Things like getting the sultry ready for welcome our long-lost countrymen. Dun, dun. Blissful arrival. It seems Whisker has the sultries securely well in hand. I, meanwhile, have discussed the next step with Master Watt and completed my inspection of the site. With a little work, the vacant buildings here could be made into very presentable dwellings. Message from General Alden. Apologies for the interruption, miss, but the General would speak with you at the earliest convenience. Do not feel obliged to wait on my accounts. I will remain here to hammer out the finer details with Watt, and act as an intermediary with our business partners in Uldar. You should go. General Alden asks that you wait for him at the main gate in Alamegan Quarter. My apologies again, miss. Fare you well. Alright. What does our good old bull want this time?
Apologies for the wait. People are screaming for the butcher's blood again. No sooner have we broken up one mob than another forms. Thankfully, all have been amenable to reason, thus far.
Thus far, indeed.
But it is no concern of yours. We must speak of the men Arenvald and his comrades apprehended in the peaks.
By their uniforms, the captives were first judged to be Imperial troops. But after further investigation, their true identities came to light. I dare say you remember Yuyuhasi and Laurentius, the fugitives who conspired with Captain Ilberd in the Crystal Brave's betrayal.
Oh, I don't ever forget those
Followed
assholes.
him all the way to the wall. It was they who orchestrated the slaughter of the resistance fighters prior to the Griffin's infernal ritual.
Were it in your hands, how would you punish these men?
As tempting as execution is, I would say eternal servitude is much more. Especially if I get to see that smile knocked off Yu's face.
You would spare these animals? Yours is a more merciful brand of justice than mine. In any event, I thank you for your honesty. When the time comes for the Alliance to pass judgment, I'll see that your opinion is heard. Well, that concludes our business here. But there is more I would say. Walk with me. I bear a share of the blame for Ilbert's atrocities. Had I openly supported the cause of Alamegan liberation, he might not have felt driven to do what he did. Things could have been different, and I'm sorry they aren't. But even after all that has happened, my homeland is free. With the Scions and the Alliance at their side, my countrymen have reclaimed what many thought lost forever. Under her new leadership, I have every confidence that Alamigo will emerge from the shadow of the Empire and rise once more to greatness. Which means my work here is done. Soon I will return to Uldar and take my place at the Sultana's side.
Father...
I'll not deny there's a part of me that wants to stay. The same part that contemplated renouncing my rank and joining you as a wandering sellsword. But I pledged my blade to Nanamo, and I will not betray that oath.
Is this truly what you want, Father?
It is. Ever has my sword been hers to command, and ever shall it remain.
What you call loyalty, Pippin.
Thank you for lending an ear. When all the rest are clamoring for me to stay, I trust you'll send me on my way.
We'll see about that. That took longer than I intended, but at least you know where I stand. Now that's settled. Arnvald, what news? We may have a problem, sir. A group of Anata arrived at the main gates, and I don't mean the Vira. These are Kialani, ones that summoned the Primal. They're insisting they be allowed to attend the council. Lise is trying to reason with them, but she may need help. Huh. An invitation was extended to all the native beast tribes, but we assumed the Kialani would refuse it out of hand. We had best go and see for ourselves. Pippin, take command of our forces and be ready for battle. Saphrine, you've dealt with the Kialani before. I'd have you at my side. Are they? Yeah, they're outside. Hopefully the snakes don't cause any more trouble. That'd be hopeful wishing, wouldn't it?
We go and go. Then we go some more. Come on. Really need to get that flight. I don't think there was a quicker way. No, there wasn't. South, okay. Saphrine, Raban, God, it's good to see you. The Slayer has come. We have not forgotten how you sinned against the Lady of Bliss. But we did not come here to shed blood. You claim to seek harmony with all who would call Girabania home. If this is your wish, you will welcome us as envoys of the Anata. It is our wish, and you are welcome, but we cannot condone the summoning of primals. If you want to enter the palace, I must ask that you first surrender any crystal jewelry. You have my word that it will all be returned to you when the meeting is over. We will do as you ask. You will not have our weapons. We are not so foolish to place ourselves entirely at the mercy of our tormentors.
I reckon that's the closest we're going to get to a compromise. And we will have our people standing guard. Let them keep their swords.
Then we have an agreement. Lead the way to your meeting chamber. Surprised he didn't fight that too much.
Why do I have a feeling we've welcomed a viper into our midst?
Raban, no dad jokes, please.
I know that's not what he was intending for, but just the timing of it is perfect. This Kianli elder's intention seems at odds. We all know of her tribe. What think you, Saphrine?
Yeah, the enthralled can never be trusted. They're literally programmed.
Aye, it is said that once a creature has fallen under the sway of a primal, there is no salvation. As of right now. And I strongly doubt the Kiliani have suddenly broken free of Lakshmi's will. Whatever the truth, I would take no chances. The guard must be strengthened, ideally with people who know a thing or two about primals. Can we rely on the Scions? I'll go and round up my comrades. Send them to the Alamegan quarter. You can go ahead if you like, Saphrine. My thanks. I will see you in the palace.
Pretty sure only people with the Echo can survive. But things have been changing. Not yet. Saphrine, I've brought reinforcements. Anval told me of the arrival of our unexpected guest, and I agreed that it would be prudent to call upon Y'shtola and Thancred as well. One can never be too careful when dealing with the enthralled. I am not familiar with the Kilyana tribe myself, but Alizé's report suggested that they shunned contact with other races. Despite it, in fact, even compared to the other Anata. Indeed, this apparent reversal in attitude is most curious. No unexpected response to our invitation, much less an envoy, and I imagine Lys was forced to make some rather hasty arrangements in order to accommodate them. Speaking of which, how should we deploy ourselves? If this meeting is to be held in the throne room, 'twould be wise to have eyes both inside and out the palace. Y'shtola and I can stand guard without. That leaves the three of you to keep watch over the proceedings in the throne room itself. Understood. We should join General Alden inside then. Saphrine, do you know of the rear entrance to the palace? It's on the eastern edge of the city, at the top of the stairs. The guard there should have been instructed to let us pass. Sure. All right. Let's go to another meeting. TT is available in this area. And it's not available in this area. That's cute. You are with the Scions, miss? General Alden left orders that you are to be escorted inside. If you will follow me... Alright, this should be voiced. My throat is hurting.
Thank you all for coming. I am Lys Hext, and I speak for the Resistance. Among you are village elders, refugee leaders, envoys from the Ananta and the Kikern. You've come from every corner of Girabania to help decide the future of Alamigo. But before that, I want to ask you a question. What was the first thing you noticed when you came in? For me, it was that empty throne. It has no one to sit on it now. No viceroy, no king. Would any of you like to take their place? Or should someone else sit there? Then let's sit here in a circle, as equals, and I hope, as friends.
Expertly done. Lys has removed monarchy as a choice early in the game, and positioned them to consider a joint government. All things considered, I would say events have got off to a fine start.
He has a good idea every now and then.
And that is Alagana's stance on the matter.
Thank you, Ragenford. Another vote in favor. Next, let's hear from Shanti of the Kalyana. Tell us, How do your people feel about the idea of a republic?
The Ananta wish only that those who dwell within Gir Abania devote themselves to our faith.
Ah, shit.
You shall all worship Sri Lakshmi! Lady of bliss, grace us once more with your beauteous visage!
I mean, it shouldn't be too surprising that someone is using themselves as a foci. You know, we saw it with Ysael, we saw it with Xenos.
This can't be happening. No crystals were allowed through the door.
We can worry about the how of it later. We need to evacuate these people right now, or the Primal will make thralls of them all.
It's up to us.
Damn it! The guards were already turned! Fools!
He really has the fun assortment of carbuncles.
The Kalyana would see us all enthralled.
Then they're going to be sorely disappointed. We have the Warrior of Light and Arenvold to shield us.
Aye, but they can't well defend your guests and attack the Primal, can they? We're stuck on the back foot.
All right, I think I have an idea. Keep these people safe, General. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Whatever she's about, you'd best make it quick. Come then. Who will be next to die on my steel?
All right. Duty time. This one's always fun.
I offer you peace and serenity.
Oh, that's great. Come on, pop. Or don't. That's a lot. Now that's a lot. Yo, at some point you would run out of ether, please. Just a little.
I shall free you from your hate.
Jesus. Just a little too many there.
Damn it all! It's only a matter of time before we miss one.
Oops. Oh. There's an unexpected guest.
What of it? Do you want to kill this thing or not?
Seriously? Oh, that's taken care of. Close enough. Okay. Oh, this is getting to be a little bit of a pain. Come on.
not your souls weigh heavy?
Pulling out all the stops, are we? High spot. Alright, we're in the final stretch then. Please, if you got something, now would be the time.
Here it comes!
Getting a little close there.
We did it! We beat her!
And
What is this?
I'm only gonna say this once. The Ananta just summoned their primal in the throne room. My friends are fighting her, but they need help. They need someone with the Echo, and by the gods, I wish I had it, but I don't. I told you before that you still had time, but things have changed. I need your answer now. You can end it like Xenos, or you can fight for Alamigo. Your choice.
yeah, I think she made her choice.
Seven hells. It's her, the butcher.
It's done. Take me back to my cell.
You are not forgiven. Not you. You I will never forgive. But I will thank you.
It's a start.
For standing against a primal and saving us from servitude. You have my thanks.
Well fought, Saphrine, Arnfeld. That was a near thing.
Aye. Our stand against the Kirkiana would have been brief indeed had he not volunteered for regard to them. We'd be enthralled as sure as our sentries were. They must have planned this far in advance.
Security was my responsibility, and I know how dangerous primals can be. I should have... it's all my fault. My stupid mistake.
Hey, lass. We were all caught unawares. We'll take this as a lesson, and watch our own more carefully in the future. You can be sure that the lackeys who smuggled the crystals into the throne room weren't the only thralls in our ranks. Soldier who first spoke up in favor of the Carolina keeping their weapons springs to mind.
A primal servant betrayed by Azora. If you mean to conduct an investigation, I can identify any others acting under Sri Lakshmi's influence. Thanks, Shiftola. We'd appreciate the help.
Speaking of, I almost fell over when Fortola turned up. What was she even doing here?
I asked her to come. Desperate times, desperate measures.
Well, that explains that, then.
It's sad, but Ragnfrid was right. Her victims will never forget her for what she's done. But I don't think Fordola picked up that sword looking for forgiveness. She wanted to fight for her country. You say the word in which Fordola grew up is partially to blame for what she became, then as an Alamegan, I feel responsible for improving that world. We can't ignore what's happening right now. We have to show people a better way than vengeance, or we risk giving birth to a new generation of skulls. I know it's idealistic, but I want to help people let go of their old grievances and make peace with each other. And I'll hold 1,000 meetings and talk till I'm blue in the face, if that's what it takes. 'Tis a long and arduous path you have chosen, but one worth walking. Rest assured that I will do what I can to help you reach your destination. Thank you, Alphino. First step will be to get our representatives back in the throne room, even though they're standing right over there. They're a little shaken, but not one of them has seemed ready to run. We're all determined to finish what we started.
I will see that you're not interrupted. Saphrine, you and the Sirens are to stand down. Get some rest. You've earned it.
Ah, yeah, you could say that. And here we are again, where it all ended.
A fine spot to contemplate the heavens. The meeting is over. The envoys have chosen to instate a government model on Ishgard's House of Commons, a ruling body of representatives elected by the people.
Interesting choice.
It is a fair decision, and one which signals the end of my part in all this. But I would gaze upon Girabania's stars one last time before I leave.
He's all yours.
Forget something? Your Grace, there was no word.
Rabon Aldin, you are hereby dismissed as General of the Immortal Flames and relieved of your seat on the Syndicate.
But,
Yep.
Your Grace...
Might want to explain that a little more.
Rabon, I am no longer a child. Stay here in your homeland. Work with your brethren. Rebuild Alamigo.
You desire to stand alone. I understand, but remember what happened.
I remember full well the consequences of my naivety, and thus did I consult at length with a most trusted advisor ere I embarked upon this course.
You, in fact.
A most trusted advisor? And what of me? Am I no longer deserving of your confidence?
What trust can there be between us when you withhold the truth from me? Did you think me oblivious to the anguish in your eyes when you spoke of returning to Uldar? For years and years, we have trusted one another. Yet now you refuse to confess your heart's desire?
I swore an oath to you that day on the sands. I pledged my sword.
And it has served me well. But in Pippin you have forged a new sword, as sharp and deadly as the blade you bequeathed him. I will show you a Sultana who can wield every weapon at her disposal, including Lolorito and his monetarist cronies. Follow your heart, please. You are home. You are free.
Nanamo. I...
Smile for me, Raubarn. I would have this parting be a joyous one.
Thank you, Your Grace. It has been an honor to serve you and Uldar.
Tomorrow you will serve Alamigo and fight for the good of all Eorzea. Am I understood?
Yes, Your Grace.
Just true Final Fantasy fashion with that shooting star.
Thanks for shielding us from Lakshmi, you two. If you hadn't been there, the rest of us would be worshipping her by now.
You're kind to include me, Lise, but we both know who did most of the work. I could scarce keep track of the battle, let alone land a telling blow.
Yeah, go thank Fordola for yourself.
No shame in admitting it. The Warrior of Light has put far better men than me in the shade.
Did I mention that I encountered the Sultana in the palace? It would seem Her Grace has come to Girabania to oversee the final stages of her relocation project. She was in search of General Oldin, and I directed her to the rooftop garden. I do hope he was still there.
Oh, our oblivious...
Are you in the habit of gossiping about
idiot.
the affairs of royalty, Master Leveilleur?
Certainly not, Your Grace. I was merely informing my companions.
Be at ease, Alphino. 'Twas only a jest.
Seriously, these wrong effing numbers.
But I must yield the floor to Raubarn. He has an important announcement to make.
As of yesternight, I have been relieved of my post in the Immortal Flames and the Syndicate both.
I shall be assuming my father's duties. And may I say that Tizona has never felt heavier upon my back.
Twould seem I am in need of employment. Mayhap one of my old acquaintances can introduce me to a mercenary company or some such.
Really?
You may be getting on in years, Father, but you'd struggle to find a band of sellswords who wouldn't snap your hand off. Your remaining hand.
Smooth, Pippin. Smooth.
Yes, the Bull of Alamigo need not be put out to pasture just yet.
Your Grace has developed a wicked edge to her humor, and you, Pippin, would do well not to laugh when the future may hold the same for you.
So, does this mean you're staying?
Aye. That seems to be the way of it. I would be glad to aid you in rebuilding our nation, if you'll have me.
If, he says. Welcome home, Rauban.
Well, that was unexpected. Though you seem distinctly unsurprised.
What?
Either you are more astute than I give you credit for, or I'm losing my touch.
No, you're
In
just
any
completely
event,
out of
one thing is
touch.
certain. Alamigo will rejoice at the homecoming of her dearest son.
So, shit. They need to take care of that. I think it's about time I head back to Ralgar's Reach. What's next for you all? Alize will be eager to hear of recent events, so I shall join you, if you've no objections. I'd welcome the company. Saphrine, why don't you come along to the Reach as well, once you've said your farewells to Nanamo and the others? Music really loves to kick in. They're really being aggressive about that. I'll have to deal with that later. Well, here we are again. Alphino has regaled me with a thrilling tale of hidden treasure troves, mid-meeting betrayals, and unlikely alliances, joyous outcomes. It would seem I missed everything. I was patrolling the palace grounds with Thancred and Ishtola when we heard report of a primal in the throne room. I honestly doubt my own ears. As others have said, we were lucky to have our Echo-blessed champions nearby this time, but we'll need to keep a closer eye on the Kialiana. It's so fucking important. Seriously, people need to get their phone numbers right. You can say that again. This whole episode has reminded me of just how far apart our kinds still are. Looks like centuries of fear and mistrust really can't be washed away in a day. Someone who has to make an effort at reconciliation. These conflicts are ever to end. Naturally, a lot of people are crying out for vengeance, but I've been doing my best to calm things down. Violent reprisals will only lead to more summonings. Indeed. Violence ever begat violence, as the Empire has learned its cost in recent times. In any case, summoning Lakshmi was the brood mother's doing, and whoever replaces her might not be so keen on the idea, considering that her daughter is an empty husk at the moment. We'll just have to watch and wait. Which isn't to say we won't be putting the safety of our allies in the Vera and M tribes first. I plan to have resistance scouts keep track of Kialiana's movements at all times. My parents will be relieved to hear that. What are your plans for the rest of the Resistance army? Out of interest? Are we prepared for Imperial counterattacks? That would be a question for the Resistance newest recruit, a military commander with far more expertise than me. Well, the Bull of Alamigo? We call it an army, but the Resistance really is a collection of smaller independent groups. And when Conrad passed his command on to me, that authority only extended to the freedom fighters which were based in Religar's Reach. He just happened to be serving as the Resistance spokesperson at the time, and needed someone to take over the role while everything was in disarray. That time has passed. When I speak with other leaders about reforming the army under the new government, I'll be nominating Ralvan as the overall commander of our forces. He has more experience than the rest of us putting together. We stand to learn a lot from him. Indeed. He is, in all respects, the ideal choice. Assuming he accepts the post, Alamigo will have added a formidable weapon to its arsenal. And given the progress of Nanamo's resettlement initiative, I see great cause for hope. The seeds which we so carefully sowed have begun to quicken, my friends. I like that. We tend to our promises and watch as Alamigo blooms. Dun dun.
Meanwhile... I do not give thanks to the kami that makeshift raft withstood the fury of the seas. But there their generosity ended. Without coins in our pockets for new attire, we are doomed to look like so much jetsam. Oh, woe betide the poor man in a city of rich merchants.
These dango are delicious. Will you have one?
More sweetbreads? I surrendered my blade to secure what few coin we have. Ah, 'tis like talking to a child. Why fate saddled me with this burden I shall never know. But I am alive. I must return to my master's side. Come, Suyu. We shall find a ship to carry us across the Ruby Sea. Okay. Meanwhile, even further. Have you read the reports? First Doma, then Alamigo. Lord Xenos put to the sword. Do not believe everything you read. I hear the Viceroy was merely wounded and that he has already returned to the capital. Naturally, the savages beat their chests and boast loudly of taking his head, regardless. Nay, Lord Zeno lives? Deplorable. That our own officers should be fooled by Eorzean misinformation. Small wonder the provinces have begun rising up in rebellion. We must prepare an official and above all accurate announcement to quell these pernicious rumors. They would wage war with empty words. Let them produce the Viceroy's remains, then we shall soon put the lie to their claims. Hmm. Alrighty. That will put a final end to Alamigo, for the time being at least. As much as I want to get into Domain Restoration right now, I do unfortunately have to cut this one shorter than normal. Got stuff to deal with. Harassed by calls for wrong numbers and such. But yeah, so that settles the Domain Liberation recap capstone for the time being. And apparently Alamigo is going to go with a Republic setup similar-ish to Ishgard's new Ishgard. Not the previous High House setup, but the new Ishgard. And apparently, according to Imperial rumors, Xenos, despite taking his own life, is not completely gone. Who knows where that will lead? But as for us here at the corner, we are unfortunately going to call it on that one. Planned Domain Restoration will be for next time, next week. And I think that's all we got for now. So, as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.